Good evening, everyone. And as the grandfatherly visage of Alistair Beck is looking on in anticipation, it's time for that annual rite of passage that is the Jeopardy Online Contestant Test. For those of you who haven't taken it for whatever reason, or want to see what it's about, or can't take it, I thought I might post this this year as I take it, and so you can get a chance to see what it's all about. Um, I take this about once a year. I've passed it several times, gotten to the actual physical audition, and obviously, since I'm still trying, I've not made it onto the show yet. Um, the way this is going to work is that you'll be given 50 questions in the form of a Jeopardy clue. So, really, not questions. You call them clues, call them answers, whatever you want. And you must provide the correct response. You have 15 seconds for every question, so you gotta think quickly and you gotta type quickly. Um, the difficulty of the questions, if you're watching the show, is probably close around the $600, the middle category value uh, on this test. So they're not the most difficult questions, but they're still not the most easy questions. So how you do on this test will probably be a very good barometer of how you would do on the show. The traditional passing mark on the Jeopardy tests are about 35 out of 50 questions correct, so about 70%. That, however, is by no means the absolute baseline. For example, last year I scored a 39, I believe, on the test, and did not get a response. So, hey, there's still a bit of a crapshoot involved. But if you are lucky enough to get the call back, then guess what? You get to go to a live edition. And I've had the pleasure of going to three of those in the past 10 years, I believe. And they're fun. It's a little bit of a trip for me because I just don't live near big cities. It's a couple hour drive, depending on where I have to go. But definitely worth the trip, and I definitely enjoy it. I'm definitely hoping to get the chance to do it again. What happens on those days is the contestant coordinators give you another test. It's almost exactly the same kind of deal. We got another 50 questions. This one's written though, so you can, if you don't quite remember an answer, you can sort of jot down a note and come back to it later. Uh, However, instead of whittling down the crowd again, they let everyone stay there, make a whole day out of it. I've been to several other auditions where if you don't pass that initial um, test, they'll just dismiss you and they just keep the people who pass the test over around to the next level of the audition. But here, it's about a group of 30 people, so they really don't want to reduce the numbers too much. So after you take the test again, just to make sure that you do know your stuff, you weren't having like four people around the keyboard all trying to answer questions when you were taking the online test. Then they move on to the more social part of the audition. What you first do is get called up in groups of three, and you get to play a sort of a mock game of Jeopardy. They got a little special program that looks like a Jeopardy board, but only has the top three questions in each category. And as soon as a category is exhausted, a new one comes in to take its place. They don't keep score, but there is a buzzer system, and it's not really a lockout. It just sort of notifies that you're trying to buzz in, and the test coordinators will call your name. When you're doing this mock game, the most important thing to remember is that they're not testing you for your knowledge anymore. They're testing to make sure that you can follow directions and that you can keep the game moving. Since there's only really 18 minutes of game time, and that's including the interview segment. You got to keep the game moving. So you got to be able to buzz in quickly, relatively quickly. You got to be able to give your answer quickly. You got to be able to pick the next category quickly. So don't sit there thinking in space about which category do I want to try on this one. Just when you're at the audition, just buzz in. So when they say you're correct, immediately just pick a category. It doesn't matter. Just pick a category. And you play that for about 5 minutes, and they'll be taking notes and making sure that you'd be a decent contestant in terms of the gameplay. And then they have the actual interview segment. And again, they're not really looking you to hold the room enthrall with your uh, anecdotes about your wonderful, amazing life. But they want you to, be bright, be cheerful, be quirky, be interesting. Just be interesting. And they'll ask you, talk a little about yourself, and they'll ask what you're going to do with the money. And, you know, those are the only two questions they're going to ask, so you should have something ready to go. And I've heard that they like to hear that people do slightly strange things with their money, slightly outrageous. They just want to hear, I'm going to save it for my child's education, or I'm going to save it and pay off some bills. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. So after that, they'll dismiss you. That'll take you about 2 or 3 hours, and you'll officially be in the contestant pool for the next year to year and a half, depending upon when the audition actually is. And now that this has obviously never happened to me, unfortunately, but you can just get a call at any moment and be whisked away to the Jeopardy studios and have your turn at the big game board. So that's again what I'm trying to do here. Hoping to get to my fourth audition. I hear the music has started, so we'll be starting pretty soon. I've taped this in the past for myself just to sort of review my answers to make sure I know my score, because you're not going to remember all 50 questions and you're going to have questions about some of them. So I'm going to continue to talk during the test, sort of give you an idea as to what I'm thinking when I'm answering questions, and, let's have a little fun. Here we go. She was Viscountess Baronnet, Empress. Viscountess. I would think French. Empress. Josephine. Can't think of any other French empresses. Oh, gosh. Oh, this film would have been Despicable Me. Thankfully, they did not ask for the character's name, because I don't know anything about the movie aside from its title, and that Steve Carell was in it. They misspelled Carell. The 8th-day Jewish festival, that's gotta be Hanukkah. I suppose it's good to note now that they don't take it off for spelling, considering there's probably about 4 different ways to spell Hanukkah. Mockingjay. They asked a question about this last year, too. That's going to be the Hunger Games. Again, not exactly something that I've ever even read. I've never watched the movies, but this has become part of trivia lexicon now, so you should know about it. Oh, Suez, Egypt. About 1,200 miles, so that's going to be, I believe it's going to be the Red Sea. My Middle Eastern geography ain't great, but nothing else is going to be around there. That's going to be, I believe, the Vulgate, and that's going to be thanks to a Simpsons joke that I know that. Oh boy, term for motion of celestial body that's opposite to the motion of most other bodies in the solar system. I don't know if that's at all. I'm going to antipodal, but it's not going to be right. 1928, and then 6 in 1932. No, it's going to be Hardy. Crap, I missed that one. That's going to be Steep. Yeah, the last one obviously could not have been Roosevelt because he would have won with 6. It would have been Hoover. Crap. Oh well. TV personality of Jesus killing Kennedy. Oh, it's crud. I guess it's the other one. I don't remember. Oh, that's gonna be Peyton Manning. Killing Jesus killing Kennedy. That would have been. I guess it's good. I thought that I can't remember his name. Glenn Beck. France tricolor with the central white stripe. The tricolor. This is gonna be blue and red. What's one in French? Crud. 3046 Battle of Crecy, longbows. We're talking British. We're talking about 100 Years' War. I still can't think of a blue and red Caribbean flag that would have been under French rule at some point. That's gotta be a kiosk. Starts and ends with K. I only saw the starts with K. So that's gonna be a kiosk. That red and blue flag's gonna kill me. This gypsy foresees her own death. In the opera name for her, so this would just be Gypsy. Yeah, it's gonna be Carmen. Don't know much about opera, but I know that. Women's College in Poughkeepsie, New York. Oh boy, which one is that one? I think that's Vassar. It's one of the Seven Sisters. Actually, I drove through that about 5 years ago. I still can't remember what it is. I think it's gonna be Vassar. Time to Kill. Took more role. Time to Kill was John Grisham. Obviously, only last names are acceptable here. This Sicilian volcano. Sicily volcano. It's gonna be Mount Etna. I hope. There's Etna. There's always another one. I always get them mixed up. I'm almost certain it's Etna. The music of the night is going to be from the Phantom of the Opera. That's thankfully the title character. Tungsten, also known as Wolfram. That's why it's element W. Robert M. Gates was the... Oh boy. But wasn't he the Secretary of Defense? I believe he was Secretary of Defense. Conceit. What's for conceit? Vanity. That's it. I like these clues that give you two different entryways into the answer, because if you don't know one, you can go for the other. Epistolary novel set in early 20th century Georgia, 1983. Epistolary novel. Epistolary novel. Probably not. Almost certainly not, but let's guess. Onus probandi. The burden of proof. The work of the court. That's gotta be a burden of proof. Buried at Hyde Park. First Lady's Hyde Park. Oh, that's gonna be Eleanor Roosevelt. That'll be another New York question. Sometimes living on the East Coast has its benefits. The most scales you determine the hardness of minerals. So we're a little more than halfway through. I'm feeling okay with how I'm doing. I missed a couple easy questions early on, though. It's just gotta keep focused. Group 3 goddesses who control human destiny, the Fates. I swear they're like Group 3 goddesses all over the place. There were the Fates, there were the Furies. There's at least one other. Gorgons were threesome. There's lots of those. Democrat is the only person representing California to ever serve as Speaker of the House. Oh, it's got to be Nancy Pelosi. I was going through quickly trying to go through my Speaker of the House before I realized it was the obvious one. 1960s art. It's not Andy Warhol. I don't know, but this one, luckily, it is Andy Warhol. I could be submitting here, but might as well use 15 seconds. Can't hurt. Computer Pasadena, probably the Big Bang Theory. I am not a big fan of it, from what I've seen. I've never really watched it, so that's probably right. Polite and gracious, thankful. Adjective, 7-letter word adjective. Also occur. I'm not gonna. This isn't gonna come to me. Oh well. Something like a 10-year-old baron, so that's going to be Lord Byron. Maybe Tennyson. No, I'll go with Byron. Look, it's going to be Zion. It is Zion, right? Like the Zion National Park. Yeah, I think it's called Zion. That is going to be a fathom. Um, yeah. Oh gosh. Lord, we do not know whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? Probably not Thomas. I'll just go with Peter as a guess. British were involved in 2 opium wars versus this country. The opium wars were against. This is embarrassing. I should know this one. I'm gonna guess China. It's definitely in the Far East. Don't know who else I would fight against. Title character of this 2001 novel is the son of a zookeeper. Brought to recent memory again recently. It's Life of Pi, thanks to their Academy Award nominating movie last year. And allele is a alternative form of gene of these strands of DNA. That's a chromosome. That shouldn't have taken me that long. Got too focused on strands of DNA. The 3 rivers, the Allegheny, it's probably the first. It's the Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. So it's got to be the Allegheny. Why the Ohio took me so long? Don't ask. Greeks and the Trojans of the city is Troy. Alright, 10 more to go. I think I can finish strong here. Oh, that's got to be John Nash, who I actually knew of before the movie because of my degree in mathematics. He was crazy. This song's to remember. Classical composer. Mazurka is written in the 3/4 dance room. Mazurka songs to remember. I'm gonna guess Johann Strauss on this one because of the 3/4 dance, the waltzes. That's a guess though. Roar was Katy Perry. Yeah, I took a guess on the classical one and I knew Katy Perry immediately. Like this is just embarrassing. Where's King of France and Albert Dad King there? That must have been Cordelia. Spell Cordelia because John and Reagan were both married to Dukes of England. X-rays. We're talking about X-rays. We're talking about Röntgen. Wilhelm Röntgen, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not gonna. There's no reason to put that in. That's going to be Magellan. Yeah, apparently, a bunch of locals greeting you with spears is not good luck. Agave is tequila. A lot of these are just almost sort of knee-jerk reactions, and one word brings to another word. Like agave is tequila. I mean, I don't have to read the rest of the clue. Chilean desert. Oh gosh, the Chilean desert, I believe, is the Atacama. So that's one you normally hear about. Edgar Rice Burroughs' most famous character was Tarzan, Lester County Boy, which I'm not. Actually, I don't believe Jane ever showed up in his books. I think that was a creation of the movies. Olive Trip Phosphorus use. That's gotta be khaki. We don't loan many words from Urdu, but that's a notable one. Hey, this is the last question, isn't it? Wow. Well, that's that. I will post in the description of this video the final results, how I did. And, you know, hope that was, if not entertaining, at least informative. Thanks for watching.